Hello, my name is Tom Barron with maneatercrafts.com, and I want to do a quick demonstration of the Gator mold. This happens to be the combo mold that I launched on Kickstarter a few months back, and I want to thank everyone who participated and also everyone that's purchased off the website so far. There have been some questions on how to use the system. I've been a bit busy and I haven't had a time to shoot a video, but I wanted to do a quick demonstration to show exactly how it works. I've got two molds here. One's in the oven. You probably hear the oven running next door here with some alligator jawbone blanks, and I've got some Texas flags here that I'm going to cast, and I just want to kind of go through the steps real quick. The inserts are designed to fit the mold system. The molds are milled from solid HDPE, high density polyethylene, and they have the chambers have a slight taper to them, and so as well as the inserts, and so they're not that difficult actually to demold. What I'm going to be demonstrating today is the liquid diamonds resin. This is probably the most challenging resin to demold. It's a lot stickier than alumilite and polyester resin, and so I want to kind of give you some tips and tricks here on what I do to cast and also to demold. So first things first, use a mold release. I know several people have said they've used HDPE cutting boards, they've never used mold release. Please use a mold release for this system, especially on the inserts. These rubber plugs down here, if you don't have a mold release applied to these, they won't last. Okay, so please use a mold release. I've got two here that I recommend. First is Ease Release 2831 by Man. It's a wax-based mold release. It's a great mold release for use with the inserts. If you're just doing solid blanks, a regular silicone-based mold release works fine. This is Ease Release 200. You can get this online at Amazon and also through Reynolds Advanced Materials. So let me show you here real quick what I do. First of all, I apply a mold release. This is the wax-based release. I brush it in the chamber, basically just in the area when I'm using the inserts, just in the area that's going to be cast. It's not necessary to cover the side walls and the bottom of the entire casting chamber, just the area that we're going to be casting. And the nice thing about this mold release is that it actually dries very quickly to a dull sheen, and it's one of the reasons why I like using it, because these silicone inserts with the silicone mold release combined spells disaster. It gets really slick. This stuff actually provides a better seal and works better with the silicone. So the other area that I want to apply the mold release is to the stopper area and also to the face of the inserts. Okay, there's no point in applying mold release to the back or the sides or the top, anything like that, because it doesn't come in contact with the resin. So just the face and the stopper area, anywhere that's going to come in contact. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not a video person, and so I may have some cuts here and there because I screw up. I'm not very comfortable doing this, but I'm going to try and edit this to reduce the run time before I post it. So just got two more here. I'm going to actually be casting 3 blanks, so it takes 6 inserts total. The system actually comes with 2 sets of inserts, these smaller stoppers, and also I've got these here with the larger stoppers for doing the bigger pin kits, like the 12.5 on up sized tubes. So most of your casting will probably be done with these smaller inserts. These will handle anything up to 2764, I believe, without any problems. So got the mold release applied. As you can see, they're already starting to kind of get dull. That's what I'm looking for. And once this dries, then we're going to seat the inserts into and the assembly into the mold. First thing I want to show you is you have to seat your tube onto the insert pretty firmly, because you don't want this to leak. I've got these pressure relief holes that run throughout the inserts to help equalize the pressure inside the tube, outside the tube, and so if resin does get inside between the tube and the stopper, it can come out the back and make a bit of a mess. So make sure you get the assembly nice and tight. And these are these inserts are made from a platinum cure silicone, so they're going to last a good long while. Another reason why you want to use a mold release is because it does protect the inserts. Okay, so basically I've got 3 of these assembled, ready to drop into the mold. Now there's not a lot of friction or play with the inserts. They pretty much drop straight down in. They'll bottom out just before the bottom typically, and I try and position these in the center as much as possible, and I'll show you the reason why when I go to demold. But what you want to do is just press firmly down on the insert. You can even squeeze the sides a little bit, just to make sure they're good and seated. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to turn the mold sideways. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you want to make sure that these inserts, because the tops and bottoms are completely horizontal to each other, you want to make sure that the inserts are not rocking forward or backwards at all within the mold. Okay, if they're rocking forward or backwards, that means the bottom is not seated and you're going to get some leakage. So these look pretty good. Okay, alright, so this mold's ready to go, ready to cast. I'm going to pull the Gator out, and again I'm going to be cutting in and out on the video to reduce the time, so you may see some glitches in the video here and there. First things first, the liquid diamonds is what I'm using. This stuff has a fairly long pot life, probably 30-45 minutes. It's got about a 24-hour cure time, so we've got plenty of time to mix this up, get it poured, and get it into a pressure pot. I always use a pressure pot. A lot of people don't. If you have access to a pressure pot, use it. You'll get better results, I promise you. Okay, so here we go. And I'm just adding part B. I've already poured up part A. And you want to make sure you mix the two parts together for at least a minute. It'll start off a little bit cloudy, but then it'll get clear within about 30 seconds. I like to mix for at least a solid minute. And because I'm pressure casting, I don't care about little bubbles that form within the cup. Those will disappear with pressure. Just want to make sure the two parts get mixed thoroughly. One thing I did not point out, and I'll show you in a minute, is that the inserts actually have a pour line. I'll do that since I've got some time here. The inserts have a pour line. I'll show you this one here. If you pour to this point, this little line here or just above it, that guarantees you a square blank. Okay. Take into account any shrinkage. If you're casting with polyester resin, it's going to have more shrinkage than the liquid diamonds or Lumelite. Liquid diamonds has negligible shrinkage. I think Lumelite's less than 1%, maybe 2% max. So it won't shrink that much. PR will shrink quite a bit, so you want to take that into account. Okay, that one looks pretty good. I've already mixed the pigment in with this part A for the alligator jawbone. And you can heat the molds. I usually put them in the oven before I cast to warm them up. 150 degrees. It'll actually help speed the drying of the mold release, and so putting them in the oven, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to warp the mold. It's not going to cause any damage of any kind. I wouldn't go above 150 for a prolonged period of time. Okay. So let's go ahead and pour these flag blanks. Just pour straight down on top in the middle and up to the line. Don't worry about any spillage on the mold body itself. It'll peel right off when you're finished demolding. Okay. All right, now let me do the color with the jawbone. Hopefully I mixed up enough of this to get some decent casts. I've already applied the mold release to this, by the way, in case you are wondering. The chambers are actually a little deeper than they are wide, so you don't necessarily have to cap it off. It looks like I'm going to be a little short on this one. You don't have to cap off to the very, very top. It's going to be close. Close enough for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and put these molds into the casting rack and then the rack into the pressure pot. And then tomorrow I'll follow up with another video, part B I guess, of how to demold these. Just slide them straight into the tray. Again, I'm used to using Alumilite for years and years, and so I usually have about 3 or 4 minutes of pot life, and so I tend to mix quick and pour and pressure cast. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in, and I will follow back up tomorrow. Thank you.